Good afternoon. This is Tisha McDonald, Alternatives Beauty Studio.
This is Tanika Gillard. I am naturally yours.
So, how was your day today, Nikki?
It was okay. Pretty quiet day. Not too bad, not too overwhelming. It was a pretty good day. How about you?
Same. It was a nice, calming day today. I took off, um, and I just did a lot of errands. And sometimes your day off can be busier than when you're going to work.
That's
So,
true.
it was a lot of running today.
No, not here. Just it's been a gloomy day. So, it's just been
Yeah.
pretty calm, and I like that. Sometimes you need a calm day,
Yeah.
just to lay back and kick back and relax a little. I think later on this evening, I'll start a new project. So I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, it was a busy day, but a calm day. It was like at my own pace, relaxed type of day. So,
Okay.
and I do have projects to work on. I have a blanket that I need to be crocheting, so maybe I'll do a little crochet tonight. Because I got to get this project finished. So
Yeah. Okay, I hear you. And that's what I'm debating. Do I want to start on something for someone else, or do I want to just start something just random, just random. But
all
anyway.
right, so let's get into it, Nikki. So tonight we're talking about parents of special needs children, and we're talking about special needs children themselves. And
Okay.
how people sometimes can be so judgmental, and they've never walked in your shoes.
Right. Well, first I have to say I am a special needs parent. I've worked with special needs parents as a nurse in the school setting. So I got a lot of background in that, in dealing with the parents and the teachers and the staff. And then on my side, dealing with the doctors in the school and the therapists. So, and then of course, schooling. I just finished schooling for child life specialists. And even though they deal in the hospital setting, they don't really incorporate special needs children into the curriculum. They don't really deal with special needs. And I think that that's a community that's really short-ended, or not really served by the population, I should say. And I think that there's a misconception that there's a lot of funding or parents get a lot through the government because they have special needs children. So that's a misconception, I think, there too. So, just on that side, I just want to say, a lot of times people will say, oh, you must be a special parent to have a special needs child. And that's something that I really don't like when people say that to me, because I'm just a person that happens to have a child with special needs. So I don't think there's anything special about it, but I can't say, from other people's perspective, that's what they see, is that, it's something special. And the only
Maybe
reason
they
why.
see it like that, 'cause on being that other person on the other side. Maybe it's
Hmm.
being seen as because everybody got their take. So it could be like, God blessed you with this special one, because
Right.
he knew that you could handle this special need. And we've talked about this before. By you
Hmm.
being a nurse and by you working in a special needs school with the babies, God kind of prepared you for rain.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's what people mean when they say that.
I understand what you're saying, but working in the hospital setting, I've seen patients come in as special needs that were being abused at home.
Yeah,
And so when they come into the hospital, they're scared, they're not trusting, and it's
yeah,
very hard to kind of acclimate them to the new environment, um, because they're afraid that the staff is going to hurt them, in
yeah.
some way. So that's what I mean, So I think that others look at it as a redemptive thing. Someone said, that she's your redeemer, kind of like to the, for the next dimension or whatever. So it just depends on people's belief system. But honestly, I mean, I don't know. I think nursing was a great thing. I always tell people God prepared me for my daughter. by sending me to the nursing school, by sending me into rehab. That was my first job out of nursing school. So I got to deal with a lot of equipment, a lot of dressing changes, a lot of patient care, turning and feeding, peg tubes and trachs. And then I ended up doing school nursing with special needs kids. And I loved those babies. I thought they were the sweetest little things. And then I ended up having a baby with special needs. So I felt like God prepared me all the way, like you said. And, to those that abuse the children, it's really hard to deal with that on a psychological end, but I understand, everyone, it doesn't have the same heart or the mindset or the same upbringing or teaching, because they're to be cared for and loved, and it can get stressful sometimes. So I'm not going to make it seem like being a parent, a special needs parent, is easy. Although a lot of times people say to me, you do such a great job. And I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. And I think that most special needs parents, if you just take the time to say that to them, that'll lift their day, because it is hard. I don't think people could see that side. And I even know one of my friends, my great friend, Peg, she works with special needs children, but to have to live with them on a day in and day out, she was like, I don't know how you do it. Or, parents deal with that on a regular basis inside the house. So it's okay.
I look at you, of course, and I see that it's a lot of work, but I have to agree with Peg. I don't know that if it came to me, if it happened to me, of course I would, have to, but it does take a lot. And you are really good you are like one of the best moms taking care of a special needs child. Can we talk a little bit about Rain's special needs? And can we talk about how you're looked at when you go outside? Because I have witnessed it, and I just, we are society is so quick to judge or look at you in a funny way, or want to walk away from you as opposed to coming to you, if you need help or something. But I do. Go ahead. Can you just expound on that a little bit?
Okay, so my daughter has a rare condition. It's genetic. It's called Dandy Walker syndrome, and the name is derived from two doctors that found a spot, it's a tumor on the back of the brain that's inoperable. That's the easiest way. And it's a genetic condition, like I said. On top of that, she has cerebral palsy and hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain. So she has a shunt that's put in there to divert the fluid from the brain down to the abdomen. And she's had multiple surgeries on that. She also has, she's a paraplegic, so she is paralyzed all the way. And she has no vision because where that tumor is, it sits on the eye nerves, the nerves that run to the eye. And so she has a lot of different things going on. She's also nonverbal, so she can't tell you when she's hurting or what's hurting. So,
epilepsy.
Epilepsy, yeah, she does have epilepsy. And so she has a lot of different diagnoses, and you have to be aware of what's going on with her. Even though she can't communicate verbally, you always can find cues. And I think that that's important for anyone, just like a regular, maybe a child with autism may not be able to verbalize, but once you get to know that child, there is a way that you can communicate with them. It's just you getting into their world instead of them trying to get into your world, and finding a way to kind of understand one another. I always say, even with general people, if they spoke a different language or something, there's some things that's universal. Cold is universal, hungry is universal, pain is universal. So sometimes we say, well, I don't understand what they're saying. I can't communicate with them. But if you just take the time to get to know them and watch their posture, then I think that's one way of communicating. So far as my daughter, and I think this is for most parents with special needs, they get looked at differently because they're maybe in a wheelchair, or even if they're not in a wheelchair, they might have a different type of a gait or walking pattern, especially with cerebral palsy, or they might have their arms might flail, or they might drag because CP, you don't have no control. it's just different conditions. Sometimes children might have a peg tube or a trach that's right there in their throat, so it's very visible that they're different. Some children might have hearing aids, and so or special aids that they wear on their hands or their feet. So children are looked at differently. It's bad when adults look at them differently. We expect children to do it, but adults, when they do it, it makes it even worse. And so I think that most times we try to make our children look presentable because they're already being looked at in a certain way when they come out the door. And so it's important for her to always look good and her best. And I don't like when people judge children that may not have the best clothing on or may not smell the best. Their hygiene may be off a little bit because you don't know what that parent is going through, or maybe the child doesn't like being wet. They don't like soap and water. They don't want to be touched. They don't, you just don't know, because there are sensory issues with certain children, or they don't like certain textures, or so I think that we don't need to judge them. I think that we need to help them in the best way that we can, instead of criticizing. I think that's very hurtful for parents with special needs children. When people are overly critical, if you don't have a solution, don't say anything. If you don't have something constructive to maybe help me, or to point me in a direction, or to point me to someone that can help me, an organization, a group, a therapist, anything, if you can give me advice, then do that. Or if you could point me in a direction where I could get some help. Because what I found in this community is that information is held. Doctors are not forthcoming on resources necessarily. A lot of information that I've learned, I've gotten through other parents. I didn't know that my daughter qualified for Pampers. She was 5 or 6 years old before someone said, "Hey, you still buying Pampers for her? You could get that for free." Or, "Hey, you don't get respite care? She could get a nurse to sit for her 15 to 20 hours a week. Well, how do I do that?" Or, "Hey, there's a special bracelet out for children with epilepsy. You can get that, And so when I present these things to doctors, they're like, "Oh yeah, but they're not forthcoming in telling you." So you find out things bit by bit and in drips. And I'm able to share that information too with others. And then one more I want to give to caretakers who might have someone that they're caring for that has Alzheimer's or dementia. There's a program called If I Need Help. It's not a program, but they do like shoe ties. Like you can get a QR code and put it in their shoestring, or put it on their wrist or on their piece of clothing on a name tag, and it'll have your information coded with your name, your address, in case that person walks out. If they're autistic, if they walk out and walk away and get lost, someone can just use their phone, scan the information, and get that child or person back to where they need to go. So I think it's important to have those resources available, to know what's available in your city or your state, to try to kind of find information, share information as best as you can, because it's only going to help one another.
Yeah, and that was a lot of information that you just gave. And again, this is Tisha McDonald's Alternatives Beauty Studio, but tonight we're coming to you on a more serious topic than hair. You guys have heard us talk about hair, I believe, almost each time we've spoken, but we want to start getting into the meat of things, and we keep being asked different things. So we wanted to share tonight special needs and how people judge, or criticize, people that have special needs. And this is Tanika Gillard.
This is Tanika Gillard, and my daughter, her name is Rain. We have a special portion of Naturally Yours, always goes back to special needs. And so her little business is Rainbows. We make handmade items, barefoot sandals, crop tops, baby blankets, and different things depending on the season. And we donate to different charities throughout the city, including United Ability, which used to be Cerebral Palsy Foundation, Children's Hospital. We give to the Burkett School, which is all special needs children. There is no regular ed there, but we also give to other schools throughout the city that does have special needs departments in them. So we do believe in giving back because sometimes the kids might soil their clothes. So we're able to donate clothing to the schools. We're able to donate what is considered toys, but they're really therapeutic items for children. Alternatives Beauty Studio has helped us with that cause many times, and we're so grateful. The schools always write us and thank us. The hospitals always write us and thank us. And I keep those letters as social proof that we do the work within the community. And so right now, I'm not sure what we're going to do. Usually I'm able to donate to Children's Hospital, the hair salon that they have there. But because of COVID, I'm not sure how I will be able to donate this year or what items they'll be able to take this year. But we are still looking to support the Children's Hospital. And when school comes back, we always donate, not only financially to the school, but because the school is all special needs, and we know children have trachs, which is in their throat, and they have PEG tubes, which is feeding tubes that's in their belly. Some children can't control their bowels. So, we always like to support with extra cleaning supplies, whether it's Clorox wipes, if it's sanitizer, if it's baby wipes that you use. So we like to always donate extra. So we give in the beginning of the year, but we also give in the middle of the year when we know that supplies are low again, just to make sure that these kids have what they need and that the area is cleaned up for them. And with COVID,
Alternatives needs to send another donation, actually, to be honest with you. How can people donate if they wanted to?
If you wanted to donate, right, like I said, Rain has her own thing going on, and her business is Rainbows, REIGNBOWS. She's on Facebook under Rainbows. If you follow us on Instagram, she's under Rainbows Handmade on Instagram. And she also has an Etsy shop, which is shut down just yet. We're restocking on Etsy, but she also has a website, which is rainbows.online.com. So she has a lot of ways that you could contact Rainbows, donate to Rainbows, or just purchase from Rainbows. I think her biggest seller right now are her t-shirts, which each t-shirt has its own meaning. She has a purple t-shirt that says I Rain, because let me talk about I Rain for a minute. We wrote a book, I Rain, and when I say we, that would be my daughter and I. Even though she's nonverbal, she's very inspirational to me. So I Rain is my story of being a special needs mom and the struggles that I face. And I'm sure that others face some, if not all of the challenges that I face as well. And so no matter what the circumstances, we have to still keep pushing through as special needs parents and children. They are very resilient. I mean, even with the therapies that they have to go through, with the hip surgery she had was major, and she had to have some real deep therapy for that. So I Rain, no matter what, the shortcomings that other people pose, that say and don't do. So I have to keep going. So no matter what, I Rain. And so the t-shirts that's selling the most right now are I Rain t-shirts. They're glitter. You have one in purple for epilepsy, one in green for cerebral palsy. You have one with puzzle pieces for autism. You have one in gold, which is for childhood cancer. And so we're working on building up that I Rain line, because there are so many conditions, and we want to support all the conditions that's out there,
And I must say, I really love that. I love the t-shirts. I love the bow. That's my favorite part on the shirt. I told you that already several times, but I love the shirts. The bow is my favorite part.
Thank you. Yes, that just came to us, the designer and I was like, why don't we try to put the bow, to put the ribbon is what it is.
The ribbon, yes.
Put the ribbon on, so that people will understand what the cause is. Just like, you have the pink ribbon for cancer, breast cancer awareness. You have your red ribbon for heart health. So we wanted to make sure that people understood what the ribbon symbolized. So purple again is for epilepsy and green is for cerebral palsy. And when you purchase, then you donate into Rainbows, and then we could donate back into something in our city, whether it's the school, the hospital, a family, because we just donated to a family of a little girl who has eye cancer and they had to remove her eye. That hurt me so badly. Someone shared it in my Facebook feed, and I just inboxed, how can Rainbows support this family? Because I could just
that on the Facebook. Yes.
Yeah, we donated, and the young lady said, "Thank you for your generous donation." And and then she sent me what the family did with the money, and so I was very grateful that she shared the story. And then, it's a small world. Another Facebook friend was in the hospital. She has eye cancer too. Her daughter does. And they was in the same hospital room together. She said, I know that family. She said, I know that family. They are so sweet. And, it's across the color line because this is a Black and a white that was in the same room. Their children have the same condition. They have different conditions. She told me the name of each condition, but they both affect the eyes. And so she said, yeah, that's a really sweet family. Can she donate? So I'm like, okay, you just don't know, who knows who, because the world is small, to be honest. And so, and when you have special needs community, it makes it even smaller. So talk about breaking down your niches,
And as one of our mentors always say, our destiny is connected to one another. So, they didn't even know, but then
Right.
through this, they knew each other. So you just
Yes.
really never know.
You never know. You never know. And then also, what was a heart-touching story, I had sent one of my students had a baby, and I had sent her some items. She always supports Rainbows anyway. She got she got the green shirt and she got the purple shirt. And then I sent her, she was pregnant. So I sent her just a little knitted crop top for the baby that she was pregnant with, so baby Oakley. And so she wore it to her photo shoot, and she told the photographer, the story behind the knit top, that this is purple for epilepsy, and we support special needs children. And she said the photographer couldn't stop crying. She had to get herself together before she could continue to shoot. And she said, well, this shoot got to be really good since this is such a special cause. And so
those were so cute pictures.
Yes, it's those stories that make me keep going, even when I say, we're not really hitting on nothing, or I'm not really sure what to do or where to go. So those things, the letter that your friend sent me, I still have it. One of your clients sent me a really nice, heartfelt letter, and it helps me to get through when I'm really, really down. And I want people to understand that too, that special needs parents, they suffer in silence as well. Y'all know I have a psychology degree, but special needs parents suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome because our children would never do the things that we hoped for or wanted them to do. And then we suffer a lot in silence nights that people don't even know about, not even UT. So, it's just a lot sometimes, but we
And the
keep pushing
depression as
through.
well.
That's what I'm talking about, depression and post-traumatic stress. So, and on that line, I would say, if you need help, get counseling, get therapy for yourself. And some people like to work out, exercise, whatever you have to do for yourself, for your mental stability, then do those things. If you have weights that you got to drop the weights. And do what's best for your health, because at the end of the day, that child is really relying on you and depending on you. So your mental health and your physical health are both important.
Kudos. When you say weights, it's not necessarily your weight.
Right.
I mean, weights, people
Right.
holding you back, people who have negative things to say, whatever it is that's in your life that you have to let go, let it go. But, this was just like the tip of the iceberg tonight on raising the special needs, because there's so much you can go into I remember a story you told me about going to the library and, because Rain likes to spit her bubbles, and that seemed to be a problem for the worker there, but Rain is not bothering anybody. I remember us going on vacation or something. I don't remember where we were, but we had to lay her out in the bathroom on the
Yes.
floor because it was
Yes.
not compatible for, and that
Yes.
we haven't even touched on those things. And while
Yeah.
we're doing this, people want to look at us like we're crazy, but what else can we do?
Yes.
So I just wanted to say, I don't know.
Uh-huh. Okay. This is Tanika Gillard. I am Naturally Yours. I am in Birmingham, Alabama. And I also have Rainbows, which is my little special part of Naturally Yours that donates to the special needs community throughout the city of Birmingham. So we're in Alabama, and we centralize in Birmingham, just different schools, different organizations, different ways that we can help individuals as well. And so we're trying to see what our next step is going to be so far as education and advocating, because that's what I do. As an educator, I'll get students that pull me to the side after class and have questions or need guidance on what should they do, or how soon should their child be tested, or their loved ones. At what age does testing begin? And for the state of Alabama, that would be age 3. They could get tested for certain disabilities.
There's certainly parents who have children who's in denial about their child having a special need. I mean, I have a special needs son, and it's nowhere near the
Spectrum.
the spectrum of RAIN, but he's a special needs child and he learns differently. And so people are so quick to, oh, if that was my son, I would this or that, but you don't know his special needs. And just because he's walking and talking and seems like he's all there, he's not. And people need to know, just because you don't see a disability doesn't mean that there's not one there. Thank you. Not get out.
Yeah, that's true. That's another story for another day too.
For another day.
But yes, that is very true, because sometimes you'll pull into the handicap slot, and just because you're walking doesn't mean that you don't have a special need. And I know with the COVID situation, I had a special need mom who was in the grocery store buying maybe some coloring books, crayons, Play-Doh or whatever, but she had an autistic son at home. And so someone stopped her in the aisle and said, that is not essential. Well, first of all, you need to mind your business. Exactly. But then secondly, you don't know what's essential to my house. I have an autistic son running around here. He needs something to, let out his energy. He got to be creative, So what's necessary for you might not be necessary for me, and vice versa. So we can't be so quick to judge whatever's going on. And just like sometimes you'll have an autistic child that might have a meltdown in the barbershop, in the grocery store, at a concert, whatever, but they don't need to be disciplined, because sometimes people feel like if you beat it out of them, or if you yell it out of them, or if you shake it out of them, it'll go away. And that's not the case. They need someone to be loving towards them, kind, and kind of understand and get on their level and get in their world with them and meet them where they are. I get a lot from relatives sometimes that'll say, well, how did they learn? How does she learn? How does she learn? But each child learns on their level, and that's why we have special educators, which that's a whole nother thing. And that's important for these children. I mean, with the COVID, it affected special needs parents. It affected special needs children who are out of their routine. And it's okay. We know that in the summer they break their routine, but this was an elongated summer. When school lets out in March to now to August, September, that's much longer than from June to August or September. We start back in August, so that's why I keep saying that. But, so it really threw them off their mark for parents and for children with special needs, because some children need routine. So, but anyway, I thank y'all for joining us tonight, and I thank you for listening. And I try to explain as best I can from my perspective as a special needs parent. This is Tanika Gillard. I am Naturally Yours in Birmingham, Alabama.
And this is Tisha McDonald, Alternatives in the Poconos, PA. And we want to say thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back live on Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. And Sunday, we probably will talk about hair.
So if you have any questions on hair or about hair, or if you need some live demonstrations, we're going to be coming soon with some live demonstrations. So that'll be great for y'all. But we're going to see how we're going to put that together for you guys. So this is Tanika again. Thank you so much.
Thank you and good night.